some DoorDash shifts on weekends. You sell handmade jewelry on Etsy. You drive for Uber a few nights a week. Great. Extra income is always welcome. But here's what the platforms don't tell you. All of that money is taxable. There's no withholding, and if you're not prepared, your side hustle can turn into a tax headache real fast. Let's fix that right now. Welcome to taxmerica.co. I'm Sharon, and today we're covering taxes for the side hustle generation. We're going through the foundational rules every side hustler needs to know, platform-specific breakdowns for Uber, DoorDash, Etsy, eBay, and Upwork, what to do when you also have a W-2 job, the deduction side hustlers most commonly miss, and how to stay organized so tax season is never a scramble. Let's go. The 400 rule. If your net self-employment income, that's total revenue minus business expenses, is $400 or more in a year, you are required to file a tax return and report that income. There is no minimum below which side hustler income is tax-free. A common myth is that income under $600 doesn't need to be reported because you didn't get a 1099. False. The $600 threshold is when platforms are required to send you a 1099, but the income is taxable to you regardless of whether you receive a form. The IRS receives information from platforms Uber, Etsy, PayPal, Venmo, and others about payments made to users. Assuming unreported income goes unnoticed is increasingly risky as data sharing requirements expand. The self-employment tax reality. When your side hustle pays you, no taxes are withheld. That means you're responsible for the full self-employment tax, 15.3%, plus federal and state income tax on top of that. Many side hustlers are shocked when they discover they owe $1,500, $3,000 or more at tax time because they spend all their side hustle income without setting aside taxes. The rule: set aside 25 to 30% of every dollar your side hustle earns. Move it to a separate savings account immediately. Do not touch it until tax time. When you have a W-2 and a side hustle, having both creates a nuanced situation. Your W-2 employer withholds taxes based on your salary alone. Your side hustle income sits on top of that, potentially pushing you into a higher bracket and creating additional self-employment tax. You have two options to avoid a large April surprise. Increase your W-2 withholding at your day job to cover the extra tax from your side hustle, or make quarterly estimated tax payments directly to the IRS for your side hustle income. Either way, plan ahead. The key forms you need to know: 1099 NEC sent by clients or platforms who paid you $600 or more for services. Non-employee compensation: 1099K sent by payment processors and platforms Venmo, PayPal, Etsy, Uber when you receive over $5,000 in payments in 2024. Threshold dropping to $600 in future years. Watch for updates. Schedule C: when you report your side hustle income and expenses. Net profit flows to your 1040 and triggers self-employment tax. Schedule SE: when your self-employment tax is calculated. Here is a pro tip: even if a platform doesn't send you 1099 because you earned under the threshold or because of administrative delays, you are still legally required to report that income. Report everything. Rideshare, Uber and Lyft. Rideshare drivers are independent contractors, not employees. Uber and Lyft will send you a 1099 NEC for referral bonuses and a 1099K for ride earnings if you exceed the reporting threshold. Your taxable income is gross earnings minus all deductible expenses. Key deductions for rideshare drivers. Mileage. The standard mileage rate of 67 cents per mile for 2024 is almost always better than actual expenses for rideshare. Track every mile driven for the app, including deadhead miles, driving to pick up a passenger. Use an app like Stride or Everlance to automate tracking. Phone and data. The business use percentage of your phone and data plan. For full-time drivers, this is often 80 to 90%. Phone mount, chargers and accessories purchased for the vehicle, deductible. Water, snacks and amenities for passengers, deductible as business supplies. Car washes for the rideshare vehicle, deductible. Uber, Lyft fees, the platform's commission, which is taken before you receive payment, is reflected in your net earnings and effectively reduces your taxable income. Do not also take the actual expense deduction, gas, insurance, depreciation, if you use the standard mileage rate. You must choose one method consistently. For most part-time drivers, standard mileage is simpler and more advantageous. Food delivery, DoorDash, Instacart, Grubhub. Delivery drivers are also independent contractors. DoorDash and similar platforms send 1099 NEC or 1099K depending on your earnings. The tax treatment is very similar to rideshare. Schedule C, self-employment tax, mileage deduction. Key deductions for delivery drivers. Mileage. Track every mile from the moment you start your dash to when you end it, including miles between deliveries. The IRS requires a contemporaneous log. Apps like Stripe, Gridwise or the built-in tracking in DoorDash's delivery app can help. Insulated delivery bags. Deductible as a business supply. Parking fees incurred during deliveries, deductible. Tolls paid during deliveries, deductible. Not included in the standard mileage rate. Phone and data. Business use percentage. Here is a pro tip. Delivery drivers, your mileage is the biggest deduction available to you. At 67 cents per mile, a driver doing 15,000 delivery miles per year has a $10,050 mileage deduction. That alone can wipe out most or all of their taxable delivery income. Online selling. Etsy, eBay, Amazon, Poshmark. Online sellers face a few unique tax issues that other side hustlers don't. First, the difference between selling personal items at a loss versus running an actual selling business. Second, inventory and cost of goods sold. Third, the 1099K reporting threshold. Personal items versus business. If you sell personal items, old clothes, furniture, collectibles for less than you originally paid, there is no taxable gain. But if you are reselling items for profit, buying low, selling high, that's a business. And profit is taxable income. The IRS is increasingly focused on online resellers. Cost of goods sold. For sellers of physical products, you can deduct the cost of the items you sell. Track what you paid for inventory and only deduct the cost of items actually sold, not your entire inventory purchase. Etsy specific deductions. Etsy listing and transaction fees, deductible. Shipping costs, deductible. Materials and supplies used to create products, deductible. Packaging materials, deductible. Home office. If exclusively and regularly used for the business, deductible. Photography equipment for product photos, deductible. Freelance work. Upwork, Fiverr, TopTal. Freelancers on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr are straightforward independent contractors. Your platform pays you, sometimes take a fee, and reports payments via 1099 NEC or 1099K. Report all earnings on Schedule C. Key deductions: platform fees, software subscriptions used for client work, home office, hardware and equipment, professional development, and any subcontractors you pay to help with projects. Foreign clients. If you do freelance work for foreign clients, that income is usually fully taxable in the US. Foreign clients are not required to issue US 1099 forms, but you must still report that income. Keep records of all the international payments received. Content creation, YouTube, podcasting, social media. Content creators are entrepreneurs and the tax code treats them that way. Revenue streams include AdSense, brand sponsorships, affiliate marketing, merchandise, memberships and tips. All are taxable. Report on Schedule C. Key deductions for content creators. Camera, microphone, lighting equipment, deductible. Section 179 in the year of purchase. Editing software and subscriptions, Adobe, CapCut, etc. deductible. Studio or dedicated filming space, home office deduction if exclusive and regular use. Props, costumes or products purchased specifically for content, Deductible. Music licensing fees? Deductible. Platform subscriptions used for the business? Deductible. Travel to events, conferences, filming locations? Deductible with documentation of business purpose. Content creation is a real business and should be treated as one. Separate business banking, organized bookkeeping, and proper entity structure can make a massive difference in your taxes as your income grows. Taxmerico.co works with creators at all income levels. Staying organized all year. The simple system. Organization doesn't need to be complicated. For most side hustlers, a simple system works. A dedicated business bank account, a credit card for businesses, income and expenses, a mileage tracking app running in the background wherever you work, and a folder, physical or digital, where you drop every receipt. Review and categorize monthly, not annually. Recommended apps and tools. Stride. Free mileage and expense tracker designed specifically for gig workers. Integrates with most platforms. Everlance. Automatic mileage tracking with expense logging. Free and paid versions. Wave. Free accounting software for small businesses and side hustlers. Bank feeds. Receipt scanning, invoicing. QuickBooks Self-Employed. Automatically categorizes expenses from your bank and tracks quarterly tax estimates, about $15 per month. 1099 specific platforms, Keeper, Collective, designed specifically for freelancers and gig workers. Auto-categorize expenses and estimate quarterly taxes. Quarterly estimated taxes for side hustlers. If your side hustle is generating consistent income, say $500 or more per month, you should be making quarterly estimated tax payments. The rule: if you expect to owe $1,000 or more in federal taxes from your side hustle, you must pay quarterly or face an underpayment penalty. Rough estimate: take your side hustle net income for the quarter, multiply by 30% and pay that to the IRS quarterly. Adjust based on your full tax situation. At taxmerico.co, we calculate exact quarterly payment amounts for your side hustle clients so they never over or underpay. Platform by platform quick reference. Uber, Lyft. Schedule C, standard mileage rate, track all app related miles. DoorDash, Instacart, Schedule C, mileage is your biggest deduction. Track every delivery mile. Etsy, eBay. Schedule C, deduct platform fees, materials, shipping and cost of goods sold. Upwork, Fiverr. Schedule C, deduct platform fees, software, home office, professional tools. YouTube content creation. Schedule C, deduct equipment, software, studio and content related travel. All platforms. Set aside 25 to 30% for taxes. Track separately from personal finances. Consider quarterly payments. Here is your key takeaways. All side hustle income is taxable, regardless of whether you receive a 1099. Self-employment tax 15.3% hits on top of regular income tax, planned for both. Mileage is often the single biggest deduction for gig workers. Track every mile. Set aside 25 to 30% of every payment the moment it hits your account. Make quarterly estimated payments if you expect to owe $1,000 or more. Stay organized with a dedicated app or bank account. Don't reconstruct records in April. Your side hustle is real income, and with the right approach, you keep as much of it as legally possible. At taxmerico.co, we specialize in helping gig workers, freelancers and side hustlers file confidently and maximize their deduction. Visit taxmerico.co to book your free consultation, and let's make sure your side hustle is working for you, not for the IRS. Like, subscribe and see you next week. Found this helpful? Like this video and subscribe to weekly US tax tips. Have a question? Drop it in the comments. We read everyone. Ready to get your taxes done right? Book a free 15-minute consultation with our team at taxmerico.co. Link is in the description. Thank you.